Hi and welcome to Chats with the Chaplain. I'm Jess. I hope you're going well. We've kicked off a mini series all around resilience, and so we're going to chat around a few strategies to help you build your resilience in life. Now, if you haven't yet watched the first video, I talk a bit about what resilience is and a little bit more about what we're going to be talking about. So if you haven't, go back and watch that video, check it out, get a bit of a foundation, and then come back to this one. But this week I wanted to talk around our mindset and the way that we perceive adverse situations in our life, stressful situations in our life, because resilience, building resilience, and also how we respond to events is often down to how we perceive them. It's down to our mindset around them and the meaning that we make of those stressful situations. And the word itself, stress, is probably a little bit overused because we apply it to everything that we're feeling that's a little bit uncomfortable. So it can first be helpful to identify what it is that you're feeling rather than just a blanket statement of, I'm stressed, which we all do. So it can be helpful to sort of sit with that a little bit and figure out, is there something else going on? What is it that I'm actually feeling, rather than just using the word stress? The other thing is that some stress and some adversity in our life, like I mentioned last week, can actually be good for us. It actually helps to develop us, to grow our strength, to build our resilience. So we can have good stress and life is not going to be without it. So there's actually a good side to it. But yes, too much stress and also seeing it so negatively can have a not so great impact on our lives. So we want to talk today about how we perceive stress. So one thing that would be helpful in building your resilience is to actually find a new lens. So what we want to do is start to look at a stressful situation or a difficult situation through a different lens and start to think of it as perhaps an opportunity for growth. Perhaps it's an opportunity to get curious and to practice our problem-solving skills. Perhaps it's a challenge to tackle head on. If you really want to get funky, you can call it the adventure zone, whatever word you want to come up with for it. It's a chance to strengthen our resilience muscles. So first and foremost, looking at the situation through a different lens can help us, rather than just doing a blanket negative statement and having a negative view of everything bad that's happening. So try and challenge yourself to have a little bit of a different perspective around a situation that you find challenging or that's causing some level of stress. And that can help you then get into the problem-solving mode a little bit easier, as well as build your resilience. So our response to those stressful situations and events that happen to us is actually the main thing that causes the difficult emotions, not the event itself. So you can have the same event and two different people experience it, and one person interprets it one way, another person interprets it another way, and they have entirely different emotional responses. So it's not the event itself per se, but really how we interpret that event and the mindset that we have around it. So one of the things I'm talking about there is, do we see that difficult event or situation as temporary or permanent in our lives? Often if we have a more negative view, we see it as permanent. Nothing's going to change. I'm never going to get out of this. This is never going to be fixed. Whereas if we've got a bit more of a realistic, optimistic mindset, we look at it as a bit more temporary and that it will change. Another way of looking at it is whether we see it as specific to that situation or pervasive, in that it affects everything in our life. So something's happened, we don't love it, it's causing us some drama, some stress. Can we look at it and say, it's just that aspect, it's just that event, just that situation? Or do we look at it and think, now my whole life is impacted, everything's impacted, and we go on a spiral of everything that we are struggling with in life? So seeing it as a specific event and specific situation can also help you to cope better and to find some more solutions to that situation. And the final way to look at that is, are we looking at it as, this is all me, always me, I'm the problem, I caused this, and it's very internal, very personal? Or can we externalize it a little bit and go, okay, this has happened, it's not about me, it's not about who I am, and it is changeable, it's workable, it's external. So having a little bit of a different mindset around, you know, where the responsibility lies can also help. And it's not about not taking responsibility, okay? We all need to take responsibility for things at times, but rather than it being a permanent thing about your character and so internal, and that causes us more stress, we can look at it a little bit differently. So having a bit of a different mindset around stress and seeing it in a little bit more of a positive light, understanding that some stress is good for us, that it can help to grow our resilience and build our capacity for handling difficult situations down the track, is a really good way to start to help yourself build some resilience and cope with things a little bit better. But also those few things around looking at the situation and, you know, understanding or looking at it differently to whether it's permanent or temporary. When you look at it as a more temporary thing, that can help you and help you cope better. Also looking at it as to whether it is specific or whether it actually affects the rest of your life and everything else in your life. So keeping it contained almost to that specific situation is more helpful. And then also how much you internalize it and how much you look at it as you're the problem or I caused the problem. Again, take responsibility where you need to, of course, but sometimes externalizing it and not sort of putting it on yourself as a massive thing about who you are can also help. So hopefully those tips have been helpful. They do really help to build resilience and help you to cope better and problem solve better when it comes to stressful situations. If you want to find out anything more, feel free to contact me. Also, the Uprise app has some great little modules around mindset and some of this stuff and how you can view things differently. So I recommend you checking those out as well. And next week we'll chat around some more strategies to help you build resilience. Take care.